Hello everyone and welcome back. Path of Exile 2 offers a deep and complex ocean of mechanics to explore, learn and master, with a crafting system that might be confusing if you've never played a game like this before. Crafting items in Path of Exile 2 work slightly differently to other games, and revolves around the use of special items known as currency. These allow you to modify your gear in different ways with sometimes unexpected outcomes. In this video I'll be breaking down the basics of the crafting system, and exploring each currency item to help you better understand how to craft effectively. So let's begin. Orbs of Transmutation are one of the most common currency items in the game. These can be used to upgrade normal, white items into magic, blue items, adding one random modifier in the process. Use these to kick off the crafting process and upgrade basic white items you find on the floor into blue items with one single modifier. Orbs of Augmentation are similar to Orbs of Transmutation, but this time used to add a single random modifier to a piece of blue gear. With this you can only add a modifier to a blue item, and you can only add one if there's less than two. Augmentation orbs are often used to add a second modifier to items created with the Transmutation orb. Both of these currencies are very common, so don't feel bad about wasting or gambling with them. Next up we got the Regal Orb, which you can use to turn a blue item into a rare yellow item, adding one random new modifier. Blue items can have a maximum of 2 modifiers, and rare items can have a maximum of 6. Regal Orbs are very useful when you've rolled or found a perfect blue item that you now want to turn into a rare to add even more mods. Once an item is rare, we can now modify it with even more currency. Exalted Orbs can be used to add one random modifier to a rare item, up to a maximum of 6, and this is known in the community as slamming. So if you hear someone say that they've slammed an item, they've used an Exalted Orb on it. Think of these items as rare versions of the Orb of Augmentation. Be careful when using Exalted Orbs though, because these are the generally accepted form of trading currency. So in most cases, what you could probably buy with Exalted Orbs greatly outweighs what you can get by crafting with them, so be careful if you're not playing solo self-found. So, with the currency we've talked about so far, you can now pick up a white item, upgrade it to blue with a Transmutation Orb, add a second modifier with an Augmentation Orb, upgrade it to rare with a Regal Orb, and then add up to 6 modifiers with Exalted Orbs. This is the basic gist of crafting in Path of Exile 2. From here, there are a few more items that we can use to change rare items as well. First off, we've got the Divine Orb, which will allow you to change the value of all modifiers on an item. This won't change the tier of the modifier, and it'll only roll within the values possible within that tier. So for example, if a tier 1 life roll allows between 10 and 20 possible values, a Divine Orb can roll up to the maximum of 20. Chaos Orbs can also be used on rare gear, randomly removing a modifier and adding a new one. You can use this to remove an undesirable modifier on an otherwise good piece of gear, but be careful. You can also remove modifiers that you might want to keep, possibly bricking your item in the process. So, once you've got your hands on a shiny yellow rare item, or used a Regal Orb to turn a blue item into a rare item, we now know that we can use Exalted Orbs to add modifiers, or Chaos Orbs to remove modifiers. Nice! With that out of the way, there's a few more items we can use to upgrade the rarity of our items as well. Orbs of Alchemy, also known as Alchs, are used to upgrade normal items to rare items, with a total of 4 modifiers. These can be used to skip the blue stage completely, but because there's less steps involved, it's more risky overall. Orbs of Chance can accomplish a similar task as well, upgrading a white item to a magic or rare item depending on your luck. Chance Orbs can also be used to create unique items as well. So if you have a specific unique item in mind, use Chance Orbs on that particular item base to get a chance at target farming that specific unique. And finally, we have the Orb of Enalment, which is a very rare orb used to remove a modifier at random from one piece of gear. Similar to Chaos Orbs, but it doesn't add a modifier. Those are the main currency items that you can use to craft gear, although this is Path of Exile. There's a lot more items out there that you can use to modify your gear even further, and we'll take a brief look at them now. Jeweler's Orbs are items that can be used to add a support gem socket to skill gems, and they come in 3 flavors. Lesser Jeweler's Orbs add a socket to gems with 2 sockets. Greater Jeweler's Orbs add a socket to gems with 3 sockets. Perfect Jeweler's Orbs add a socket to gems with 4 sockets, up to a total of 5. Perfect Jeweler's Orbs are incredibly expensive at the moment though, so if you find one of these, you might be better off selling it for hundreds of exalts. Next up we have Artificer's Orbs. These orbs add sockets to gear pieces. These sockets can have runes or soul cores socketed into them. Gear pieces can only have a specific amount of sockets. Two-handed weapons and body armor can have 2 sockets each. All other pieces of equipment can only have 1. Be careful when socketing gear though, because runes and cores can't be removed or changed. There's also several currency items which can be used to change the quality of an item, and quality is a stat shown at the top of an item's tooltip. The higher the quality, the better the inherent stats on that item. To improve the quality of an item, use Armorer's Scrap to improve armor pieces, Blacksmith Whetstones to improve martial weapons, which are weapons that use attacks like bows, hammers and crossbows, etc., and Arcane Etchers to improve non-martial weapons like staffs, wands or scepters. We also have the Glassblower's Bauble, which adds quality to a flask, and Gem Cutter's Prisms, which add quality to a gem. Finally, we have Vaal Orbs, which don't really fit into any other category. These can be used on any item and can have completely random results, from absolutely nothing at all to boosting stats or even granting a rune socket. But be careful though, Vaal Orbs will corrupt an item, preventing it from being changed ever again. This is useful as a final step in crafting when you know you'll never touch the item again, but you can also brick an item completely with just one single click. Lastly, we have the Mirror of Candra, an extremely rare currency item which can be used to mirror or duplicate any other item in the game. This is obviously extremely powerful, and should be reserved for extreme, perfect endgame items. If you manage to get a Mirror of Candra as a drop, consider yourself extremely lucky, and don't use it unless you know exactly what you're doing, as these are worth up to thousands of exalts. So, there you have it, all of the basic currency items in Path of Exile 2. There's a lot more crafting opportunities in Path of Exile 2, and there's even more items you'll find later on in the endgame, from catalysts, essences, distilled emotions, omens, and much more. And I'll cover those off in a later video. So, I hope you enjoyed this crafting guide for beginners. If you learned something new, consider dropping a like or subbing to the channel for more content, and leave a comment down below letting me know what content you want to see next. And, as always, have a great day.